Hello, this is Brian again. So, just left the ridge line. I just shot a spotlight video on one of the common flowering plants of this area. So, just starting to head down. Look at this beautiful rock outcropping here. So another thing that I like about this area is, while it's not extremely rocky, not like huge boulders every single place you look, there are some really cool little outcroppings that are worth a little bit more of a circumspect view. These little caves in them, probably for small animals. And we've got an old stunted laurel sumac growing out of it. So this area just north of the summit area of Bauer Benchmark, you get some cool little rocky sections here. And it's pretty neat because kind of makes the area even more interesting. So yeah, as I said, I was just recording a spotlight video just over the hill here on this plant here, California wishbone bush. So be on the lookout for that spotlight video. That's Mirabilis laevis californica. I mean, Mirabilis laevis crassifolia. So be on the lookout for that. It used to be known as Mirabilis californica when I first learned about it. So, kind of roaming down the hill. I'm gonna make a little bit of a loop out of this. I said I'm not gonna spend an extreme amount of time, but definitely wanted to get out and enjoy this nice, refreshingly comfortable weather. It's nice and cool right now. The air feels really nice. There's actually a breeze blowing. When I was over hiking Weir Canyon earlier today, I did a small hike over there about an hour ago. There was not much of a breeze, and I was sweating pretty heavy. It's not hot or anything. It's just I get hot easily because I pack on a little extra weight. So here I am, back to the trail here. This trail starts on the side of Bauer Benchmark, and again, more fine examples of our prickly pear habitat. And again, we've got a mix of coast and western prickly pear, and of course, Coast Cholla. Awesome plant right here. Up here in the beautiful El Modena. Now I'm guessing they call this Santiago Oaks Regional Park. It used to be called Modena Open Space. So I don't know. But I guess, you know, names really don't matter that much right now. It's just the fact that we have some really beautiful greened up hills. There's another informal footpath. And actually a few of those kind of slinking around here too. Here's the Chelostemma capitatum. It's like I think they call it blue hyacinth, or another name of a plant that might make some people giggle, but it's an actual official name called blue dix. And no, I don't mean that in a humorous, funny way. That's actually one of the names of that plant. So, no puns meant, no disrespectful language meant, but that is one of the common names. I think blue hyacinth might be another common name because it kind of looks like a small hyacinth flower, a little bit. I don't know where the other name blue dix comes from, but here we are. Lots of small cactus, got smaller cactus over here. Then we got these thicker, taller ones over here. I'm gonna try to make it across the other side of this park. Try to see if I could find some other prickly pear, the Opuntia auricola, which seems to be lacking here on this side of the park. And you can see this laurel sumac has suffered a lot of damage over the decades. Probably fires, I would imagine. This laurel sumac is extremely resilient. Very resilient shrub, and that's why one of the reasons, just one of the reasons, one of many reasons why I have such a high regard for it, besides it being a really cool member of our native plant communities. But yeah, this is one thing about this park. So much prickly pear cactus here. If you're a cactus enthusiast, this place will definitely be somewhere you want to visit. Especially if you're a native cactus enthusiast. Like I said, we're looking at 3 species and 1 hybrid. 3 species being tall or chaparral prickly pear, Opuntia auricola, coast prickly pear, Opuntia littoralis, coast cholla, which does occasionally find itself this far inland sometimes. That's Opuntia prolifera, and a hybrid, that'd be Opuntia occidentalis. So, you want to enjoy some prickly pear diversity? This is most certainly a place you're going to do it. So always feel a really good vibe when I come here. I mean, you know me, I love my tall pine forests and oak woodlands and thick chaparral, but coastal sagebrush can definitely lift up the spirits. And that especially comes from a lot of the very pleasantly scented plants that grow in it, like our sagebrushes or sages. Here's down a Cannon Street right here. But even the yellow mustard flowers give off a slight aroma. Some might think it's pleasant, some might not think it's so pleasant. And at portions of the year, the mustard flowers kind of give off a slight funk. I wouldn't say it's really bad, but it's noticeable. But right now, I kind of just smell a slight clean fragrance, and I know it's the mustards, because I only smell it when there are mustards around. It's just unfortunate these are not native plants, and they are actually detrimental. Because when the soil gets disturbed really badly, like it has here over the decades, it just means the mycorrhizal fungus in the soil might be depleted. And a lot of our native plants use the mycorrhizal to promote their healthy growth, especially in relatively nutrient deficient sites. This to me appears to be a nutrient deficient site. Shallow soils, very hard and dry. So this is a tough enough environment, just considering the rainfall patterns. So what happens is the mycorrhizal fungus is depleted from the soil. Native plants are generally going to have a harder time reestablishing. So that opens up an opportunity for non-native plants like these grasses, filleries, and mustards that really don't need mycorrhizal fungus to get established. So that's how they become so prevalent, and sometimes so quickly, especially after multiple disturbances. So that's why a lot of this area is what they call ruderal vegetation, where native plants are really not as prevalent, especially along this here. A lot of these mustards. So the mycorrhizal content in the soil is probably low to absent. Now, some plants can survive in these really gnarly soil conditions, and then you'll have a lot of our natives mixing in, like Artemisia californica, Eriogonum fasciculatum, cactus, a lot of other plants will still squeeze out a living here, but over time, the more disturbances that happen, the less likely that the native plants will be able to compete with the invasives, and then also less likely that mycorrhizal content will become present for our native plants to grow better. So that is an unfortunate consequence of constant disturbance and non-native plants. A lot of them don't even care about mycorrhizae. So that gives them the opportunity to take over. Looking over towards the ridge line where I was. Little flat area here. I'm still considering maybe hitting that one up too. So, fortunately, the more damage, the more rural, in other words, non-native weedy vegetation takes over. Another plant that takes over very readily in disturbed sites. A lot of jets flying over today. Probably all flying into SNA or John Wayne Airport. Here's another plant right here. Phoeniculum ricari, an ephemeral perennial. Stop. That dies back. Roots, sprouts in the spring. Non-native. But that, we still get to appreciate the resilience of our sagebrushes. Artemisia californica. Beautiful California sagebrush. Always one of my favorite plants of the coastal sage scrub habitat. Just like big sagebrush or Artemisia tridentata, with age they develop these beautiful trunks. Pretty. I'll see you on my next video. We'll see what else I can find.